let's, how can I say? Let's start.
Absolutely. All right. So we are going to begin with a somewhat lengthy setup description. Geraldine has heard plenty of rumors about the Highroad of Maluviette, but never as the main point of discussion. While speaking with the Archmages, which is no easy feat, but one that you managed by virtue of knowing about the forgotten deity, they've mentioned known incidents involving the Torment fragments across the world. A woman who stole the heir to the Maldrek branch of the Kinehurst family, who explosively transformed into a tree, mutant penguins that have been spotted by sailors the world over, and stories of never-before-seen monsters on the high road. When researching at the Trivium, a mega-temple containing temples to all of the divine, except for the forgotten deity, you heard a tale from the head of the Trivium, by the name of Indra Viclum, about a village with the name of Willowdale on the high road that was abandoned nearly a century ago, after a mysterious group of adventurers led by a blade of the Kinehurst uncovered an ancient volcano dragon by the name Zaxar trying to deceive the village in a vie for power. This incident stood out because no blade matched the description of the one that had appeared, and they were never seen after the incident. While researching in the halls of the Mage Academy of the Immortuous Castellum, you learned about what led to the creation of the High Road as a military route for war between the Hunrum Republic and the Incendium Populace, and eventually into a trade route after the war. You learned of an abandoned fortress where the trees, bushes, and flowers were made of muscle and skin. In 2 decades of research, you found hundreds of stories where people, animals, monsters, and plants mutated or went mad seemingly instant, a clear sign that a torment fragment was involved. These little 1-inch purple crystals are madness given physical form, and prolonged exposure or direct contact can transform anything, mentally and physically. Do you have any questions about what you may have learned or found in your research?
Let me digest this for a second. So, last 20 years I spent researching, so more I found, the more I'm eager to dig into it a little bit more and a little bit more. And this madness, this fragment, it seems to got this ability to twist and create, and made fear and madness into flesh. Geraldine will definitely be keen to leave and explore the site. It's just not just by listening to those information, but just go and check out of it. That's definitely something up to her alley, and that's definitely something that she will love to do and to explore a little bit more. At the same time, if I'm in this academy, there is probably some, what I'm asking here is like I'm more like a student, I'm more like a visitor. I'm one of the relic they just keep in the library just to make sure that I don't go too much around. What I'm asking here is what my role in this academy, just to make sure that if I eventually decide to leave, I can cut those strings, then then connect me to this place if I maybe decide it will never come back.
So the various mage academies, it's similar to universities where you can enroll for just like one class or multiple classes, and they will allow individuals that are not in bad standing, at least, to access things like the library for a small fee to keep up maintenance on the building, the libraries, and such. If you wanted to, you could have enrollment classes, learn fundamentals of magic, the math behind things, that sort of thing. But at the minimum, you paid some type of fee to access these libraries because they contain books and knowledge that are very difficult or impossible to find other places.
Sounds good. And I would say this: I attend those classes late during early hour in the morning, or the first class ever. So there is less people there. I don't like to be around crowds, and I spend most of the day the libraries in sections that are a little bit more secluded, or I go and grab something, and I crawl in an area, sitting down there, maybe even on top of one of the libraries, so people don't immediately see me on top of this bookshelf structure, if there is one. And I moonlight in the evening, working and close to the local cemeteries and etc. As a grave digger, just helping out there, a fitting profession, then help me to raise that little bit of money, then help me to pay those fees, even if I have money on my own. So I don't. I look like a normal member of the society. I don't stand out too much, even if I'm what I am. And I also will provide me for me an excuse if sometimes it's like just before putting someone 6 feet under, a hand got missing. Or or there is a munching of one of the calf. It was the rats.
Yeah. So the mage academies themselves, they're used to the strange and bizarre. It's the sort of thing they research. As far as the specific one where you did a lot of research and you would have been doing this job, the Immortuous Casteum is a country that was only founded about 30 years before the start of the High Road. So it hasn't been around long, and that occurred after a former Archmage candidate, the Archmage candidate for Necromancy by the name of Nick Mares Askjaw, had helped lead a unit to defeat a witch by the name of Acrid in this country that was slowly taking it over with his army of undead. The country's reformation was to create an environment where necromancy could be used ethically in the hopes of preventing the rise of another evil necromancer. The Immortuous Casteum, translated to English, roughly translates as the immortal castle. So, especially your appearance and such in this area is something they're more familiar with. People don't necessarily give you a second glance.
That's good. That's good. They are, this is probably the reason why I stick around a little bit longer than other places. I'm usually not feel comfortable just staying in one place for a long, long time. People start to question and make weird looks and such. But I feel like it's time to go. I feel like it's time for Geraldine to spread the wings and just to get on the road, in this case the high road. So I will conclude some of my classes, roughly interrupt the other that I'm less keen to follow. I was just doing it for extracurricular activity, let's call it like that, to have more information and such like, and bid farewell to the few people that I interact with normally. The library person that usually allow me to enter, or other people like this, or the guy that I work with at the cemetery, if there is one. Maybe a professor or two that I spend some time speaking with and having a relationship that is just a little bit more than superficial. The kind of people that you met on a daily basis, but you don't consider them close friends. And I just pack everything, my gear, my tome. I hide my weapon under my long cloak just to avoid being stopped by guards in the middle of the road. And I took off.
So as you're first beginning your journey to the 1900-mile road through the Malvius Mountains, the high road of Maluviette, you have two options. There's in the Incendium Populous. Actually, if you'd like, at the top of the lore page, we have a world map if you want to take a look at that real quick.
Where I can find it. This one, sorry.
High road lore.
Okay. Yes.
It's at the very top of it. So,
yeah.
The Immortuous Casteum is the area with all the letter Ds. The Incendium Populous is the one with all the letter A's, and the Hunrum Republic is the one with all the B's. The Malvius Mountains and the High Road is up there at that northern section of the Incendium Populous between A1 and B1.
Yeah, I can see that.
So your two options are essentially A1. There's a little village by the name of Pallet. It's at the northernmost part of the Incendium Populous, and more or less the western side of the Malvius Mountains. And then the other is on the other side, there around B1, known as Eldwin. It's a large, bustling city that's led by the main branch of the Kinehairs family. So the head of the 8 branches of this noble family resides there and runs the town. Most of the mountain isn't traversable by normal means. It's a very dangerous mountain and always has been. The high road was the safety, the place that people could travel in the past. it has been considered unusable, completely unusable for 30 years, and most of the last century, people avoided it just for the dangers it presented. Obviously, the means of travel, this is ignoring things like being able to fly for long distances, teleportation, or other similar possibilities in the world of magic.
Yeah, no, of course.
Most anyone you've ever talked to, though, if travel of the Highroad came up, they always recommend starting at one of the two cities because that's where you're most likely to find information that's somewhat current or possibly new problems that have bled from the mountains towards the cities.
So while Geraldine is tempted more towards the village because less people, less interaction, etc., she is looking for info. She's looking for anything that can give her a little bit of edge in when she's ready to face the high road. Also, a big bustling city means more chance to sneak in without caught too much attention compared to a smaller village that where her presence will be noticed. So I'm going for B1.
All right. So when you first get to Eldwin, it seems like any other major city around the world. People of all kinds reside here, and you see plenty of races that are less common in the world. Things like turtles, tabaxi. You even actually meet a couple of other merfolk type. Merfolk just being the name that human civilization is given to the various races underwater.
Yes.
And
please carry on.
Okay. And you quickly discover that the average person doesn't necessarily know much. There's no mage academy here or grand temples or anything like that. But through all of your investigation and looking for this type of information, you are granted an audience with Lord Kinehurst specifically, as you've heard that recently a quest was given to some heroes from the town of Powit. They were asked to clear out the high road and try to deal with the major problems because they wanted to revitalize this trade route between the Incendium Populace and the Hunrum Republic. And you were granted this audience due to the fact that you may be able to assist those heroes in addition to doing your own research on the high road.
I will present myself to the place. I not used to interact with nobles. I'm, at the end of the day, I was a pirate. So for me, nobility is not something that I'm accustomed to, but Geraldine tried to clean up a little bit of very tattered dress, fix her tentacle in behind her head. Usually she'll let them go around as they please, but now is almost like a weird ponytail that's a little bit loose. And she try to use a little bit of powder to make her look a little bit less cadaveric, a little bit more, I'm alive and I'm actually happy to talk and happy to interact, and I follow the protocol of whatever guards escort me in.
Okay. Go ahead and actually give me the first appearance check of the entire campaign to see how well you clean yourself up and present yourself.
Absolutely. So my appearance is as a bonus +5, so 21.
21. So you clean up very well, even for whatever dirt or grime you may have missed. You look like you are put together. You look like you are someone who knows what they're doing, and it would be meeting with nobility. And as you enter the meeting chamber for Lord Kinehurst, you quickly notice that he has assembled 4 of his knights, his upper echelon of the military forces. These 4 individuals stand out in a way that they appear to have probably backstories just as impressive as yours. One of them is this hulking man whose skin has hardened into a firm carapace, despite the fact that he appears to be a Goliath in nature.
Sorry.
There it is. There also appear to be 2 tieflings. Twins, you would guess from how similar they look. One male and one female. The female wields dual scimitars that are ornate, clearly of high value, and likely enchanted in ways that bolster her abilities in battle. The male tiefling wears a long black cloak pulled over his body, kind of preventing you from seeing any deeper details about him. The type that you think is likely specialized in infiltration, scouting. His main skill set likely being stealth, and preventing others from being able to identify and find him. And the fourth one is another tiefling woman. She is distinctly different from the others, unlikely to be related. And she carries with her an ancient tome in her hands. One with symbols that, if it weren't for your research, you likely wouldn't recognize. Most of them are either ones devoted to ancient civilizations that have fallen, or incredible runes that only pass amongst the archmages. She is clearly a devoted spellcaster who has spent an incredible number of hours in her life studying and practicing magic. Lord Kindhurst himself is what you would expect of a nobleman. He's lithe. His jawline is sharp, strong. He's tiefling himself. His horns come out around the side of his head, almost forming a halo around it. The smile on his face is stoic, a practiced one. One you know that anyone of rank would use to bring an air of comfort to a conversation, to avoid unnecessary intimidation.
Okay, I mean, he's surrounded by, 4 very interesting and kind of intimidating guards. So at the end of the day, this feel like a spectacle, like I'm entering and there is it's probably sitting there high up and etc. Those people on his left and right. So it's a show off at the end of the day. At least that what Geraldine is getting out of it. Maybe it doesn't want to, but that's what I'm perceiving. I will step in, do a courtesy, even if it's not the best that I could do, especially because I'm not used to. And I am try to stand up a little bit. I'm not sure if I'm almost towering at the same height of the Goliath, or maybe a little bit less, or a little bit over them, but I definitely can see him straight out in the eye. I'm giving an interesting look to the last tiefling, the one with all the runes and etc., because that almost triggered my immediately need to answer. It's like I'm not saying it, but you can almost feel like, oh, I need to know what is all about this. What is the rune? What is that thing? And etc. etc. And I just interrupt the silence with, "Hello."
Hello. Your name is Géraldine, correct?
Yes. Géraldine Moulin, at your service.
Good. I like to hear that. At my service. I hear you are looking into the Torment Fragments and the possibility of a deity forgotten time.
Yes, indeed. I couldn't notice that you carry infernal heritage in your blood. You practice dignity in your court. I respect that. Most nobles, very power, they do not understand. I'm sure. Or case. I smile
Flattery.
in the meantime.
Flattery. Common practice amongst those of nobility, those of the upper echelons of society. I can appreciate your desire to use such things on me, but at the moment I would prefer to keep on topic a little bit more.
Straight to bit. My kind
Yes.
of relation. How can we help each other?
Well, currently, myself and the governor of Pallet have sent a group of heroes out to the Highroad. Their goal is a simple one: to deal with the various monsters, mutations, and oddities that have broken the road and made it unusable. Without it, the trade between the Hunrun Republic and Incendium Populace has begun to fail, and both countries' economies have suffered. What you do beyond helping them, well, I'm sure there's plenty you could learn about out there. I have sent out a few mercenary units and even a couple of my more elite military units as well, and they've reported some very strange things. Interesting flora and fauna made of flesh, ghosts from worlds that do not exist. Even buildings that seem to imply otherworldly origins. Now, if our most recent report was correct, those heroes should be arriving at the village of Willowdale soon. There once was a teleportation circle there, and more than likely it's still in function. We could cover the costs of your teleportation there if you'd like to meet with them and travel alongside them. Joining their journey in doing so, at the end, you would be privy to the same reward that they are. We've offered them 100,000 gold each for completion of this task.
I am not in need of mortal and terrain value. I care very little about it. However, I will accept it. You can always do a little bit more with money. Can I also bargain for something a little bit less monetary?
And what would it be that you're interested in?
And at that point, I pan with my eyes towards the person that wearing that very rich robe. History.
Can you repeat the first half of that? Your mic ended up cutting it out.
Yeah, sorry about that. Discord sometimes cut my voice because it doesn't feel like a sound more than actual people talking. Let me rephrase that. I look for history, information. And when I say this, with my eye, I pound out towards the tiefling with the big robe and in reach with all the runes and etc. To make my intention quite clear. And I will go back looking at the Lord and says, everything that is I can dig out.
So you wish to study, in a manner of speaking at least, with my knight Indrana. I'm sure she would be willing to work alongside someone capable enough to help clear the Highroad of its problems. A small concession, I would say, to allow you such access to her knowledge.
It sounds delightful. I hope we will get along. But first thing first, let's clean the Highroad. And I just stare.
You notice that, despite his earlier statement about getting to the point, he chooses to make eye contact with you at this point. Not like intimidating or trying to, have a staring contest, so to speak. But he locks eyes as if to affirm that you two are on the same wavelength, just staring. And you can feel that there is a presence behind his power that is foreign to you. It seems almost eldritch in nature, but something's not quite right about it.
There is a moment of silence in the meantime I get all this in. Can I roll an insight check? Just to make sure. I would like to determine if predisposition towards me it's benevolent or there is something else. And I will. Of course, I deleted what I needed. Sorry again.
No worries.
And let me double check on something. My insight is +2. I'm not the most perceptive in that sense, but let's hope for the good dice roll. Oh,
a very
natural
good
20.
Dice roll. All right.
Great. So, a total of 22, but please.
So, you can tell that this is a man who has delved into secret and terrifying things through his life. He's done far more than simply lead a city, lead people. He's more than a noble. He has delved into necromancy, into the alien and forbidden knowledge of illithids, of aboleths, of any of these eldritch creatures. This is a man who, if he were to stare down a god, likely would believe himself more powerful. And you can see in his eyes that your meeting is something he has expected for quite some time. That he has a plan for you. You can't tell what it is, but he expects you to return someday. and he expects that your deeds will help him achieve whatever his greater goal is.
My, Excellency, we both know the power is not gentle, and I admire the fact that you lead without hiding the stain of what you need to do to get it. Some spend entire lives pretending that they are not marked. I respect you for that. You require my service. I require information. I think we will get along very well.
Very,
And
very well.
I gently bow my head. There is anything else?
No, I believe this meeting has come to a close. Indrana, if you would, take our guest to the teleportation circle in main library. Make sure that she arrives in Willowdale safely. And please, update her about what we have discovered on the high road. Any oddities that her and the heroes should be prepared for.
I just do another curtsy. In the meantime, I'm waiting for the tiefling to accompany me.
And you see Indrana head towards the door, and of course you, and she opens it and gestures for you to head out in front of her. She leads you down a long hallway until you come to a door that's inscribed with runes around it, and you recognize these particular symbols. It's a form of gate, one where if they adjust the runes, it'll connect to another location. She takes a couple of them and swaps them around, sets them back in, and when she opens the door, you can see the largest library that you've ever encountered. It easily looks large enough to eclipse the manners of some of the nobility you've met even. Likely on the same scale as the Trivium, the mega church that contained temples to all of the deities. And in the center of the first floor, directly ahead of you, is a teleportation circle that looks very well maintained.
I do a soft chuckle when we walk through into the library. If you think about it, we are just walking into a cemeteries of trees, filled with ink and runes and memories. Anyway, and I turn towards her and I take a good look at the rune on her cloak. Do you mind if I roll an arcane roll? I know it's going to be probably difficult because I don't know many of them, but just to see if I could recognize something.
Absolutely. Go ahead and give me that arcana.
Oh, high and low. Roll a natural 1. It's a 12,
yeah.
but sometimes the dice decided to tell a different story.
So as she's moving, it does make it more difficult to identify the runes. The couple that are on her clothes, the fabric bends and moves and covers them up to a certain degree. The ones on the tome she carries, because her hand and arm turns kind of disguises them from time to time. There's one symbol though that you can easily and clearly identify on the back of her cloak as she walks in ahead of you in the library, and that is the symbol of the goddess of death, Hiroti. This is by far the largest individual rune or symbol on her person, indicating that she holds a strong devotion to this god.
Many would think you to be odd for such a statement about the dead, but I find it reassuring.
My smile can go as a little bit more bigger if almost anatomically impossible, but I try to just to be polite and do a gesture with bowing my head. There is definitely a big difference in size between me and her. I kind of crouching a little bit in the meantime with talking. So from an outside point of view, it's almost like I'm walking by, almost like I'm crawling close to her, and I say, "What is on the other side? At the end of the day, it's just, I will say, a different state of being. I don't understand why people are so afraid of something so natural. At the end of the day, everything dies.
As my former teacher used to say, before creation comes destruction. Change is natural. The urge to fight it is natural too. But once you accept that there's nothing you can do, that is when life truly begins.
I just deeply nod. Ah, that was a very wise teacher. I get this feeling that we are going to have wonderful conversation if I ever come back.
The feeling is mutual.
And I just stand closer to the portal. I do a nice bowing gesture in my head. I tilt it on the side, and I staring. I don't need to blink, but I sometimes doing it just to almost like a reflection of, oh, I need to keep the appearance. And in the most polite tone possible, if any of us die again, I will remember us. I think these are the closest things to immortality I can offer. I bid you farewell.
She nods as she starts preparing to activate the teleportation circle. She then hands you a small stack of papers. You can see pretty quickly that these are copies of some of the reports they've received. The one on top specifically seems to be about a cavern along the road. It's about maybe a quarter mile away from it, and it whispers promises. Promises of everything a person holds dear, that it can give them whatever they desire. Papers that you'll be able to review as you see fit at a later point. Clearly, what they consider to be problems from the things that have been reported on the high road.
I, glancing through the papers, see the information, mumbling between me and myself, like honey or a bear. And I just tuck the information away, look in the direction of the tiefling woman, smile politely, and wait.
You see her flip her tome open with absolute ease, a very practiced routine for her as she flips to the page she needs on the first try. She begins chanting the incantation needed, and the runes on the teleportation circle begin to light up. And in a quick flash of blue light, you're enveloped in the energy of the teleportation circle. You then find yourself standing in what appears to be a rather old mansion. For the most part, it doesn't seem worn, but there's a thick layer of dust over everything. The furniture has begun to break down, but the walls have not, as if the building itself were magically reinforced.
Good bones. And I slowly started to try to get out of the room. It's, I think we are still in the middle of the day, right?
Yes, you'd say 1 to 2 p.m. based on the light coming through the windows.
Not my favorite moment, light doesn't affect me anyway, but I find myself almost like, a deer under the lights of a car is like, it's uncomfortable. I don't want to stay there. I prefer my little corner, my little darkness. And so reflecting on that, I'm going to move through the house, kind of try to avoid any direct light, almost skulking in the darkness. And in the meantime, I'm trying to get in all the information of where I am, where I'm supposed to go. And also, I need to find those adventurers. So I'm wondering if they are nearby, or, do I need to hunt them down?
Go ahead and give me an investigation check.
Sounds good. Okay. Mhm. Sorry. Let me double check my investigation. It's a plus 6, if I remember correctly. Oh, give me 1 second. Sorry. I'm trying to. Oh, okay. There it is. Investigation is yes, plus 6. I just wanted to make sure.
All right.
Oh, okay.
Cannot
Definitely
roll a
know what I
zero-sided die.
That's definitely not what I wanted to write. I misplaced a number. Okay. I like those odds. I roll very high or very low tonight. Or roll a 20 or I roll a 1. I don't know what.
Right?
So with a
So-
natural 20 or a total of 26,
Yeah, you can quickly take in as you're looking around the area that this place wasn't just like abandoned overnight, that they packed away anything of value to them, anything of importance like documentation and notes. Very little was left behind beyond just furniture and everyday items. But you do also find, as you kind of peek out the front door, you can see tracks in the snow that look fresh outside of this manor.
Great. Humanoid in size, multiple people.
Yes, it looked like there were 3 or 4 people that had been through this area, and they all look roughly normal in shape and size for humans.
And getting almost in a predatory kind of setting in my mind, I will start to follow. I'm looking in the snow, try to avoid to be on the direct wind, and I'm stealthily my way towards them. And if I start to hear them, I will stand a little bit back, listen to their conversation, and wait for the right eventual time to step in.
So, to describe this area a little bit more, as you head out of the manor, you notice that these walkways and where you see the footprints in the snow, all of this is on top of a large set of wooden paths that have been created up in the trees. You're about 40 feet above the actual ground itself, and you can see out and around that there's a lake kind of to the southeast of where you are currently. And you don't see anyone immediately in this area at the moment. As you look at the tracks, you can tell that they had gone over to one of the other buildings up in this village area that's been brought up above the ground. But you can also see the tracks leading over to a rope ladder that goes back down to the ground, and tracks that head out to the lake.
Okay, using my slipper of spider climbing, I will use this advantageous position to just move from one top tree to another, and as I said, stealthily try to get closer to them as much as possible, and to avoid being spotted.
Okay. So you skirt the trees away from where the manor is, and kind of heading a bit closer out towards the lake. And as you get out that way, you can see that there's a large patch of snow that is pressed down into the ground. It looks like some type of building had been there and now is gone, as if it was magically created and then removed at a later point. You can also see the remains of a campfire just a few feet away from where this building would have been. The campfire itself looks like it likely was put out close to 12 hours ago. There's no smoke, there's no embers. And likely whoever was here has left the area.
Oh. A little bit disappointed because I can't find them immediately. I will, jump down where everything was, and look and search and investigate to see if I can find more tracks or information. I sometimes, if I found something that where some like information where someone was sitting, I will just get close to the ground, almost like sniffing, and I'm literally acting like I'm hunting.
All right. Go ahead and give me both an investigation check and a survival check.
Okay, I'm going in order, and my investigation is a +6, and doesn't do much. Why it doesn't do much? Okay, I don't know what's happening, but okay. So I have a 24 for the investigation roll, and for the survival, a 21. Pretty good roll tonight.
Rolls. So as you investigate the camp area and you're looking at the tracks and taking in like how they may have been behaving, sitting down, so on, you get an idea of how many people are in this group. You can tell that for some reason they've been dragging something along with them as well. But there are footprints from 5 different people. It looks like a couple of them maybe on the smaller side, a couple on the larger side, but there's one set of footprints that very much stands out. They're bigger better than average, but they're still within human limitations. But instead of just sinking into the snow a few centimeters, they dip down significantly, as if this person's weight is easily triple or quadruple that of a normal person.
Okay, so heavy footprints.
Yeah, and you can tell from where they sat and where maybe hands had brushed across the snow that a couple of the people have more or less your typical skin. It's smooth with some rough edges. One of them, though, is definitely scaled. They have scales. And you notice in the tracks that are heavier than the rest, the imprints they leave behind are incredibly smooth, similar to that of a highly polished and perfected mastercraft weapon that had just been dragged along, as if the person were made of metal. You also see little footprints. They look very similar to dragon footprints, but they're no larger than that of, say, a large chicken. And
Geraldine will immediately just sit, almost like crouch down and inspection those specifically. Not because they are more important than the other, but just because she loves tiny things. Everything that is small and delicate and etc. is caught her attention, especially because she is so tall and big compared to them. I'm not losing focus on my task. I need to find them. So I just got distracted for like a few seconds. It's like, oh, and I just look at the snow and I just like, no, and I keep walking towards my prey, and I quote.
yeah. You can also tell quickly from that small distraction looking. You also find another set of small footprints, and you can tell that these little dragon-like ones, they're either from an abyssal chicken or a pseudo-dragon, but there's also cat paw prints in this area as well, just like a normal house cat. And you gather that this group likely is 5, maybe 6 people. They might be dragging that 6th person around. They have either a pseudo-dragon or the abyssal chicken with them, a cat, and you do eventually notice, kind of off to the side, it wasn't hanging out with everyone else, appears to be another set of heavy footprints that are shaped very much like a dragon's. It looks almost like the footsteps of some type of automaton, similar to that other one that you had found, but instead of being human in shape, it's draconic in shape.
Okay, interesting. So, based on my role, you can tell me on that. What information can I get out of the who they dragging or what they dragging along? Is a humanoid? There is anything other than that I can understand, or it's more like what you told me is like, this is it. You have everything right now.
Whatever they're dragging, if it were a person, it is around the size of kind of your average dwarf. It does look like it's a rather hefty size thing. Either it's like 100-pound sack of potatoes, or it's a smaller person, like a halfling or dwarf, or even, it's a bit on the big side for a gnome, but it could be just a giant gnome too, potentially.
Fair enough. I don't feel the cold of the snow actually, but I'll like to get a little bit, and I kind of taste it, just to almost like a reminder of youth and what I felt about it. I don't. There's not much there for me anymore, and I drop it, and almost lost in my thought for a few seconds while I stare in the direction I'm supposed to go, and I immediately rush towards them. It's like I'm down on my 4 and I just follow the tracks as fast as I can. And as soon as I started to get closer, I stop.
So with the 21 in survival, you're able to quickly determine which way they left at the end, because these tracks do seem to go off in a bunch of different directions. Like they kind of had their base here and were going down exploring and coming back. But you can pick out what their last tracks were. And as you bound back into the forest following them, you do notice they end up, whatever they're dragging, they eventually did pick it up and just start carrying it again, whatever it was. And you follow these tracks until you find another part of the village. It looks like residential, with all the houses decaying and breaking down. But the tracks continue going out into the forest further, until finally you find yourself at the Highroad. And it's very clear that this is the road itself. It's worn yellow golden brick. And it doesn't look like it's seen much travel in recent years. It hasn't been maintained either, so it's damaged, it's scratched, the yellow is fading from the color of the brick. And there are 2 guard posts up in the trees above the road as well. And you can see that the tracks of whoever these were have continued their travel down the high road towards the northeast.
And I'm guessing that they are following the high road. I will stand up. Not on my complete. I am still always crouching a little bit. I'm used to staying in a closer space. So I stand up the best I can, and I just started to walk in the direction of the road. Always looking around, moving now getting my tentacle free, going down around my body, and just taking it in. I'm on the high road. I was looking for this place, and there is so much that I can learn.
You finish, undoing the formalities, your tied up tentacles, letting your hair down, in a manner of speaking, and you're beginning to walk down the road. You notice that one of the shadows cast by a tree begins to kind of swirl and coalesce, rising up from the ground, slowly taking on a more human-like appearance. You notice as the arms form, they're long, they're lanky, and they come down to these clawed fingers. And it keeps rising up until it matches you in height. And the head of this shadow forms with tentacles flowing down until you're staring at what appears to be a copy of yourself. Your large grin and your eyes on this shadow are instead made of a purple light as it stares you down.
I kind of stare with my big blue eyes. I'm entranced by this in a morbid way. You delight to confuse me in a way that is not unpleasant. I'm just still deciding whether that is dangerous. And I'm just slowly going with my hand towards the handle of my rapier. Just ready, not out yet.
As you begin to reach for your own rapier, you see the shadow reach an arm up and over its shoulder towards its spine, and you see it grip. Even though you can't see the hand itself, you can tell what it's doing as it begins to pull upward, pulling out its own shadow version of that rapier from its own back.
See what's happening here. Let's make it interesting. And I lunge towards the creature, towards my doppelganger, let's say.
All right.
So, initiative?
So we'll just say you're first, and then it's second.
Okay. So my opening, let's call it like that, it's just to test. Okay. So I'm taking out my rapier from my back. It's this very ornate guard that is clearly look like sorry, a skull of some sort, more like an animal skull than anything, that has the mouth open and the blade came out from it, almost like a weird, very pointy, long tongue that is ornate with fractures. It's a solid piece, it's made of metal, but it has this texture of cracks and pores that make it look like bones itself. And I lunge with my first strike without adding anything else, just to test it how it goes. 14.
14. As you lunge forward, its arm still above its head, finishing pulling the rapier, it steps to the side with that same grace that you often move with. The rapier just barely grazing along the side of its dress, or what would be its dress if it were a corporeal being.
Fair enough. I retract back, and I crack my neck, and I'm just waiting there, using my footwork, and waiting for their attack, if ever comes.
So as you step back with your footwork, you see it take on a combat stance, bringing down its rapier, and it mimics that same thrust towards you with a 17
And
hit.
no, my AC is 20. And I just, gracefully, almost like two dancer in underwater, just we kind of avoid each other, and I just smile and, um, you know, in a series of slash and thrust and piercing, carry on with the fight. At the moment, we are in this dance of death.
As you
And
as you
Mhm.
slide out of the way, you do see it reposition its rapier to protect itself as it steps back, using uncanny dodge to disengage and back up about 20 feet, then preparing itself for your next move.
And I look at it, and at that point, my I lift my arm, and the flesh along my forearms seems to tighten, to get, almost like leathery, and split open, and just enough of pale, cracked bones started to came out from it, push through, almost like a broken glass, piece of broken glass that they condense into almost like a ball of energy, and they just blast in the direction of this thing. Um, and that is my Eldritch Blast, and there are two of them.
3. Cantrips raised by
Immediately.
total level.
Sorry.
Cantrips increase based on your total character level, so it's 3 beams at this moment. The third beam was fired at
Oh.
character level 11.
Perfect. So I'm rolling the same thing 3 times, and I will let you know. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So we have a 14, a 30, and a 25.
2 of those
I think.
definitely meet the mark.
So each one of them is 1d10 plus 5. And so the first one is a 14, and the second one, just give me 1 second, is a 12. So a total of 26 damage, force damage.
You see as the blast of energy, one slamming into its chest where its heart would be, the other kind of around where its kidney would be on the opposite side of its chest, on its right side, and they punch holes straight through it, and then the shadow kind of reforms around it, recompleting the shape. It clearly did damage, but this thing isn't human. It doesn't seem to have any type of organs or weak points that a human would normally have.
So I definitely did something, but of course, while a living being will have much more clear effect, this one seems to not resist, but taking it, with less gravity. That's what I'm getting.
Yes.
Okay, that's good. So that's my round. So please.
As it finishes reforming, you see it do the exact same motions of you. You're not sure if it's just copying what you're doing at this point, or if you just happen to be on the same wavelength as it, just that slight second or two ahead of it.
Almost like he's learning from my own move. If eventually, it's like observing me and copying what I'm doing, or actually doing exactly what I'm doing because it's just a perfect copy of me.
Exactly.
Okay.
So let's see. 3d20, that would be a 21, a natural one automatically misses, and a 25.
Sorry, you say 21 and 25?
Yep.
So both of them eat. My armor class is 20.
Okay. And then the 2d10 plus 5 each from those would be 22 damage total
So
between
I
both of
got
them.
blast from both of them, almost like he was repaying my kindness, I will say. And I just tilt my head, smile. I don't feel pain in the same way that a living being do, but these things damage me no matter what. And I touch where I felt my coagulated blood coming out. And at this point, using my bonus action, I will rush, literally just throw at his face, closing immediately the distance between us, and trying to pierce him into the chest, almost like an uppercut given by my rapier, to see if I can pierce it from the navel to the head in just one go.
All right.
27.
That is a clear hit as you start your blow exactly where you intended to start it.
So at that point, I discharge, let's call it like that, all my energy into the things with using my Eldritch Smite on it, adding it's 68 force on the attack.
Yeah.
So let me roll my damage. I will divide it. So this is plus 6. So this is the actual damage of the rapier. That is 7 point of damage plus 6 point of necrotic damage for a total of 13. Where is it? Sorry, I'm just checking if I wrote the things correctly. Yes. And this is the force damage that I apply immediately after. So for a total of 30 damage between the two bits of the attack, 13 and 17.
You notice from the attack, the initial attack with the rapier, as you slice up from bottom to top, it doesn't necessarily seem to reform the same way it did with the Eldritch Blast. Like the two pieces come together, but it almost seems to flap slightly in the breeze, as if it didn't actually finish merging back together. When the burst of energy hits, you notice kind of blasts a hole in its chest that then reforms together.
No, this thing is definitely more resistant, I such notice, to force damage than my slashing and piercing. No changes about the necrotic one, I presume.
Correct.
Okay. I forgot something. You tell me if I can apply it or not. Technically speaking, because of my swashbuckling, I can add my sneak attack when I'm in a 1 versus 1 fight. Could I add those damage right now, or you prefer me to use it next round?
You can absolutely go ahead and do it right now, since we are still in the attack itself.
So on top of the 30 damage that I did, there is 3d6 for a total of 10. So for a total of 40 damage in just one thrust. Those are thanks to my sneak attack.
You do notice as it finishes reforming from that blast that blew the hole in it, the line you left in it from the rapier and the sneak attack itself do still seem to be there. That line is still in its chest after it reforms. And your rapier does allow you to apply the curse since you hit it, assuming it failed its save.
The DC for the save is 19.
It fails the save. Which curse effect are you going to apply?
This is an interesting question. Instead of hex, I will say that I will do the damage one. So every time I roll for damage, I can roll twice and choose the one that I prefer. That's what I understood. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Okay. So each point where there's a line break is a different effect. The attacks made against curse or hex target always applies. Same with, of course, that 1d6 necrotic. The bestowed curse is either the effects of the bestowed curse spell or the effects of the bane spell. So you can choose one of the bestowed curse spell effects, or you can apply bane.
I will apply bane. I see I'm fitting bestow course of bane. I think I will apply bane at the moment.
Okay.
Let me double check if yes. So at the moment they need to they have a 1d4 subtract from their roll. Do you want to roll it or I roll it?
So the 1d4, if I understand the spell correctly at least, is every single time. So anytime they're going to make a save or attack roll, I'll roll the d4 at the same time to subtract.
Yes. So it's the normal formulas minus 1d4.
Yep.
Or if you want, if that's something that will speed up things for you, I can roll 1d4 now, and we just decide, okay, that's the number you will always subtract.
I'll just roll it each time. It's quick and easy for me to type in minus 1d4, so.
Okay, perfect. So I apply Bane. So that means then I should also, we are testing things out right now, but just that means I'd also re-roll the damage roll to decide which one I choose, or I can just decide that no, I keep what I rolled here.
Starting with your next attack.
Starting with my next attack.
Yeah,
that sounds good.
This curse it takes effect after the damage roll.
Yeah, after I actually attack, I inflict damage the first time. It made complete sense. Thank you.
Yeah.
So after this impressive thrust, I put myself back on guard and I look at myself and I just smile and I say, "Your turn."
This is when you notice this entity finally do something different than you. You notice it readying the rapier to block against attacks again, taking the disengage action with cunning action as it backs up only about 10 feet this time. And it raises its hand and you hear a bell toll. Doof, ding, ding. And Toll the Dead is a saving throw, I believe.
Toll the Dead is supposedly, I think there is a saving throw there, but let me double check. So we have these things called internet that can help us. So sound the bell, takes 1d12 necrotic damage. The spell increase on 1 die by when you reach 5th level. So it should be 2d12 at this point, and 11th level, so probably 3
Yep.
d12.
It's up to 3 dice.
And
Yep, it's up to
3 dice, 12. But doesn't say that there is any. No, there is no.
There's a wisdom save.
There is a wisdom save?
Yep. Succeed on a wisdom save or take damage.
Okay, the one that. Oh, yes, on a wisdom saving throw, yes. Sorry.
No worries.
My wisdom saving throw is 6 plus 6. So 1d20 plus 6, 23.
That is a pass. You hear the bell toll that third time, and the necrotic energy that was beginning to cover your body kind of just dispels with no effect.
And yeah, I just, be ready for what's coming, because this is just a taste, probably.
It is your turn, as it used its bonus action and action.
Okay. We're using my. Just thinking about something. I will, I will kind of give it the same to him, to them, in this case. This thing doesn't have bones, Toll of the Dead, the way that I cast it, that it's more, like an echo to shake the bone of the target. It's almost like from inside there is this reverberation. And this thing is not completely solid. However, the spell effects will be the same, just now targeting the shadow to make it semi-solid. And with a snap of my teeth and the sound that almost like come from my mouth and around me, just create this wave that will make him roll for wisdom. This is 19, and he's definitely safe.
Yes, it
And
did.
with a natural 20, I just make that kind of sound. And I'm just saying, it seems like we are not getting anywhere. And I use my fancy footwork for make myself a little bit more difficult to hit, if I remember
All right.
correctly.
Yeah, let's see. I actually just pulled it up so I could read it.
Yeah.
If you make a melee attack, it cannot take opportunity attacks against you. That's what fancy footwork does.
Yeah, sorry. I meant that. Yeah. Okay. So I'm not disengaging here right now. So I don't. Because they actually did. So I will say. No. At the moment, I just standing ready. We did both. We did the spell and etc. And he tried to stay away from me, almost like. So I just a corch in the distance. I feel like this thing is much more stronger in a close, distant combat than a close one. So I'm just trying to keep the pace, and every time he step away, I just step closer.
All right.
My moon is up to 30 feet, so I think I will be able to reach it.
Yep, it's only 10 feet away, so you're able to reach melee range again.
And
To
I'm
which,
just,
as you... Go ahead.
I know, I'm just, just getting closer. I will not say towering over it because we are at the same height, but just staring down. Big eyes, rapier in hand, this big smile.
You notice as you move in closer, its smile almost seems to get bigger on its face, as if there is some level of sentience and it seems to be enjoying itself. And with your moving closer, it makes a melee attack with you as it kind of thrusts the rapier upwards, almost the same way you did when you went down and tried to slice up.
Yep. And let's see
if I rolled that well.
lucky as well. And it definitely did. So I tried to avoid it, but it get me on my shoulder, and it's
Ooh, skipped a whole bunch of stuff there for a second.
okay.
There we go. So that is 17 damage from the basic rapier damage and sneak attack. You notice, though, as the rapier is making contact, that it lacks all of the magical properties of yours. A copy in appearance alone.
Yeah. So the rest it doesn't come with. Okay, good. So I'm just double checking the total amount of damage that they inflicted to me. Just to make sure that it was 17, and now is another other 17, pretty much. Plus the I think that was it. Help me out for a second.
Yep. It was only
There were,
the 2 different times they dealt damage, so.
yeah.
Okay, the first one was
So
22, the second one was 17.
22.
So 39
22.
total.
Okay, thank you. Just because I wrote it down here, and for a second it disappeared, and I don't want to lost it. Okay. So getting stabbed, there is a moment where I almost caress the blade, almost like instinctively want to grab it. But I don't close my hand on it. It's just I briefly touch the shadowy creature with my free hand, and I just with a swing try to cut it across where the head is, and I will do again same attack with the sneak attack into it, and even if they are less powerful, I will still put my Eldritch Smite on it because give me that little hedge they probably
Yep.
they don't have.
So with the neck being a kind of smaller part and you aiming specifically for it, the aimed attack has disadvantage to hit.
Okay, so I roll 2d20 and plus 11. I just roll a 2d20 first, so we'll see which one I get. So 1 is 7, so 7 plus 10, 20, 28 is the minimum, even with disadvantage. And at this point, I will roll 1d8 plus 5 plus 1d6 plus 3d6. This is my first roll with the rapier and the sneak attack for the damage. And maybe if I put the command correctly, I will actually do it. This is the first one, and I will do it again. And so I definitely choose the 29.
Yep.
Plus, on top of that, there is the 68 force damage that I roll once because they are different from the curse that I just put.
So you still roll 2 because all a part of the same attack roll, and you get to roll the attack roll's damage twice. The whole attack roll's damage. So.
Okay.
The same way like crit rules apply to all the dice, even the smites and such.
Okay. Fair enough. I think so. Is okay. Just to divide it correctly, 8. So we have 29 damage between the sneak attack, the rapier, and the necrotic damage. So for a total of 29, and a total of 28 of force damage that immediately came in immediately after, or a total of quite a lot. Matt is not my forte.
You do of course notice again with the force damage and it kind of breaking in. Actually, you succeeded on the aimed attack at the neck, which makes it a critical hit automatically. With that, the homebrew roll was its max damage plus roll normal damage. So essentially, the max damage of all those dice is 8, 6, another 3 6s for 18, and another 6 8s, which, let's see, 3 8s, 24, 48.
73 damage in total.
Yep.
Between the whole thing.
Yep. So you burst with extraordinary damage as you go for the neck, and as the light explodes outward from your Eldritch Smite, engulfing the head and the upper half of its torso, you see the lower half, instead of reforming, kind of just fizzle out, flipping between black and purple in color before just dissipating, leaving the shadow of the tree back in its normal form.
Geraldine will, just finish the swing, look at the tree, almost with an instinct gesture, just thrusting down the blade, almost to, throw down the residue of blood that probably is not even there. but she has done it so many times that it's now like a more like a natural reaction, and gently put the rapier away. In the meantime, she look around, and she kind of disappointed because there's no rest. There is no creature rest on the ground. There's nothing that she can take and dissecting and studying. At the same time, she's excited by the whole things. Is like everything is dangerous in his life and is a new experience, even more interesting than what she was expecting. And cracking her neck, she smile, and she just move her head towards her goal, finding those people. She still have some cuts and etc., but nothing heavily, so she will deal with them later. Also, she doesn't bleed out because there's nothing running in their body.
Yep. So, you know that they're at least a few hours ahead of you at the very minimum. Do you want to travel at a fast pace or a normal pace?
This place is dangerous, and the fastest, especially because those people are supposed to be ally, the most secure moment is where I'm going to reach them. At the same time, I know that if I go too fast, I'm more keen to be assaulted, let's call it like that. So I will do something a little bit weird kind of way. I will run to an extent, and when there is a change in the landscape around me, I will start to slow down.
Okay. So as you're going, you do take note that the trees around you are all very large black oak trees. The blackness of it, though, is far deeper than normal, almost an obsidian, while remaining the same bark material that a tree is supposed to have. As you're going, you can hear the sounds of animals and wildlife in the forest around you, and you can tell that all of them are scattering away from you, as if they can sense your presence and that you are unnatural as they try to avoid you. Nothing ever seems to try to get closer to you. The trees and bushes remain the same type as you continue to travel. And as night falls, you still haven't caught up to the group, but you can tell by the tracks, if you just stop for a moment and look, that they are incredibly fresh. You are no more than a half an hour away from this group at this point.
And night is getting closer, and leaving me need to rest, while I'm not. So what I'm doing, even if one of them is an automaton of some sort, some other are definitely not going to be able to stay up all night. They are going to at least sit down a moment, have something to eat or such like. Or at least that is my assumption. So I will start to keep up the pace, but go a little bit slower. In the meantime, I follow the track and I look for sounds and clues to tell me, oh, I've finally arrived.
Okay, go ahead and roll a perception check for me.
Yep,
You'll
absolutely.
find them regardless of the roll. The higher the roll, though, the quicker you find them.
Sounds good. Let me double check my perception. I think it's supposed to be plus. Yeah, I have proficiency, so it's a +6 on the roll. Oh, it's going to take some time. Definitely going to take some time.
Yes. You travel that extra half hour, and you're certain they were within a half hour, but having not spotted them yet, you kind of slow down and try to focus on everything around you more. And you get the sense that you probably passed them, that they put their camp off the side of the road a little bit so that anyone coming down wouldn't immediately see them. And you turn around and head back. And as you start taking your time and really looking at the snow and around, you do find their tracks eventually. heading off the side, only about 100 yards away from the road, but because of the trees, it keeps them from being seen immediately. And as you come up on the camp, the fire has already been put out. You don't see anyone outside of this instant fortress that's been put up, and you can tell that that's what left the large square imprint. This is the building that left that mark next to the lake in Willowdale. You can also see that on the front of it, it seems to have taken damage that hasn't been repaired yet. There's one figure that you notice after a short time, though. Go ahead real quick, with what you were saying.
Oh, I was wondering if, thanks to those damages and etc. and my spider climbing ability, if I can see an entrance of some sort. Please carry on.
So the damage you see is just to the left of the door that enters into the instant fortress. The damage itself appeared to have been made by very large claws, and there is a hole in a couple of those claw marks that's almost as big as an arrow slit. Between those and the actual arrow slits around the fortress, you could take a look inside of the fortress. Your Arcana's high enough to know that an instant fortress, its magical properties would prevent you from entering the door unless you are one of the people given permission to enter. But you do notice one figure that's off the side. A single, large man made of steel. His entire body shines and is polished. In terms of quality, you would say that he even surpasses the most masterfully crafted sword that you've ever seen. Even amongst Warforged, he seems different. You don't see the organic parts of the body. And his face isn't cut. It's not crafted. It's just a single thin plate of glass with lights that make up the face on him as he begins to turn away from the camp and wander off further into the woods.
And, okay. I'm intrigued. And at the same time, I'm keen to introduce myself to the other. But I want to see where this guy is going. So I'm going to use my climbing ability to crawl on the side of the big trees and stealthily follow him.
Okay, so no roll. You're going to succeed on that stealth right away. And you follow him through the trees and out into the forest for about 15 minutes or so until you see him finally stop at the top of this large hill. And as you get close yourself from a higher vantage point, you can see what's on the other side from further away. And you notice the hill dips down onto the other side into a valley with the ruins of an ancient village. You can tell that it's of traditional gnomish design. There are 5 Shinto shrines placed around the valley, and some type of event has occurred in the past, and there's these tears through the ground connecting each of the 5 Shinto shrines in the pattern of a pentagram, the valley creating the circle around it, as if it's one massive ritual circle. We have one last thing, because you hear a voice echo and boom across the valley, and this is the cliffhanger we previously left off on with the group. So this is exactly where everyone will be starting this Friday.
Great.
My dear friend, you finally returned. How long has it been this time? 20 years? 30? Perhaps only a few months? Oh, it doesn't matter. Eventually, I will have your power, your domain, your position.
And that's where we will go ahead and wrap up.
That sounds great. I have a quick question just to make sure that I understand completely. Do this voice, it seems almost coming from the valley itself? Or around us?
It's like some bodiless entity within the valley is speaking out across the entire thing. And you can tell that the voice is directed at this mechanical man that you've been following.
Yeah. Especially because I've never been here, so I'm like, it's like, definitely not me. Okay. And there's just 2 of us. Sounds great. And Geraldine will do something in the next session.
Yep.
Thank you.